Brian, thanks for the time. We have seen this back and forth war of words between President Trump and Iran, but this is certainly an escalation. What do you make of this renewed threat of, in the president's words, a whole civilization will die tonight?
Greg, this is the kind of rhetoric that the Iranians have been sending out to the world for many, many years, and I think the calculus of the president is that you have to speak to them in the same language that they understand and that they utter. It's tough language for sure.
Brian, at this point, we have understood that AP says Iran has pulled out of those negotiations. So does the IRG take these threats seriously as we keep an eye on that countdown to the 5 p.m. deadline tonight?
Well, Greg, the question is whether they care about the threats. The IRGC is about survival at this point. They've been beaten back considerably, as have all of the military apparatus in Iran. The question is whether they're willing now to stand down in favor of their own people. And we know from the history of Iran over the last 47 years, the people in Iran don't come first. The military apparatus, the mullahs, and other people come first there, Greg. This deadline may pass for Iran to make a point to the world.
Brian, as we sort of speak about the U.S.'s place in the world during this conflict, many world leaders have made it clear that if the U.S. follows through on this threat of attacking bridges as well as power plants, it would be considered a war crime. What would the implications of that be for the U.S.'s position in NATO, in the UN, et cetera?
We have a tenuous relationship right now with NATO and the world community in the sense that when we have asked for help, it hasn't been there in many ways, and I think the president is frustrated about that. But the whole situation about the bridges and these other potential targets in Iran, one has to remember, by studying their history, that these sites and all of the apparatus goes straight back, not even a dotted line, a straight line to the military. So these are not civilian targets. These are fully integrated targets with the military. There's just absolutely no question about that. Almost everybody in uniform in Iran, whether it's police or anybody else, are part of the security apparatus, Greg, in Iran. So these are totally military integrated targets, whether it's power, whether it's bridges, and frankly, a number of other things as well. And I hear a lot of people debating that, but history doesn't lie.
Yeah, Brian, I want to ask you about sort of the political ramifications of this. Public sentiment, disapproval for this war has continued to grow. How much of an issue is this for President Trump and his agenda? We saw his remarks to the nation last week as he tried to explain why the U.S. was doing what it was doing in the Middle East. Does that become a political liability the longer that the U.S. is engaged in this conflict?
Absolutely. But at the same time, war is not a video game. You don't hit reset and all the players go back in place. We haven't been at this for very long, just over a month. And when you contrast that with past wars, this is a relatively short period of time with tremendous military success. We cannot forget that Iran has threatened the world for many, many years, particularly around the issue of nuclear weapons. I don't think anybody is in favor of Iran having a nuclear weapon. I think a lot of times, Greg, this comes down to a real dislike of the president and his methods and his vocabulary and everything else. But the core issue of whether anybody thinks Iran with a nuclear weapon and intercontinental ballistic missiles is a good idea has not read history.
Yeah, and on that point then, Brian, how does the president or how does the Republican Party then impart to the American people about the nature of this mission of Operation Epic Fury and the work that has been done in Iran to perhaps change public sentiment or to turn it?
I think they just have to, I mean, I can't speak for Republicans or Democrats, that's not my job, but they obviously have to continue to tell the story of Iran, their ambitions, not just in the Gulf region, but throughout the world. And when one travels, by the way, in the Gulf region, you realize very quickly what a presence Iran is and was in that region, controlling many, many things, scaring neighboring nations with their military. So this is an opportunity for the world to have that country reset its compass in favor of the people, in favor of peace, in favor of prosperity, and not the kind of regime that's in that country now. And if Republicans can make that case to the American people before the midterms, where a lot of this rhetoric, Greg, as you know, comes from. I mean, this is about putting Democrats in office in terms of the arguments going on in Washington, D.C. I think if it were an off year, there'd be a lot more Democrats saying, yeah, we really did need to take on Iran. But the midterms are very, very important. They're very, very close, and so you can't give the president any credit for a win here.
Yeah, the world continues to watch as we approach that 5 p.m. deadline imposed by President Trump. KTVU political analyst Brian Sobel, always appreciate your time, sir.
Great chatting with you, Greg.
Yeah, good to see you. More news to come here after the break on KTVU and the Fox Local streaming app. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Congressman Ro.